you guys in the second half were matching them and within 3 points a couple of times, and then eventually you had to punt. Was there a feeling at that point of deflation, like this is getting away if we got to punt at this point?
No, obviously we didn't want to punt. You know, there were, I don't know if the game's ever had 2 punts combined in it. But, you know, just kept feeling that you know, we'd make a stop. You know, that he'd throw us the ball again like he did earlier when he threw it to Lamar. You know, and that we'd be, you know, something would happen, whether we'd make a play or they would screw up on offense. And so, no, it wasn't that feeling at all. I thought we were going to win the game all the way until, you know, the last drive there.
Were you somewhat surprised how easily they moved the ball in your defense?
Sure I was. Obviously, they've moved the ball like that on a lot of people. I didn't think they would do it on us. You know, and credit to them. You know, a lot of really good players. The back played great today, and the quarterback did not make many mistakes, which is unique for a freshman on the road. You'd think there'd be more turnovers today.
Marqise, can you describe what happened on that interception in the end zone? On the interception, describe what took place on that interception in the end zone.
Great defense. I felt like it was a hold. But,
Stop with the great defense.
Well, ran a route. The player did what he did. I tried to catch the ball. Luckily, he caught it and turned over.
Kind of looked like a mugging to me.
It really was, but I'm not gonna complain about it. It's cool. I'm not much worried about it. He played great. He was holding. Yes, the ref didn't see it. We just got to continue to play from there. I mean, focus from that point on. We'll just continue to go.
Wayne, you voted your team preseason #1. You have 3 losses now. How much of the onus is on the coaching staff of what's happening here this season?
All of it. You know, that's what you do as coaches. You know, for us to have the penalty, we fixed the penalties today. Hopefully that will continue. But for us to have the penalties that we had and the turnovers and you know, the 3 losses, especially the first 2, where we feel like those were ahead of those games and should close those games out. And then today, you know, screwing up. You know, I told the players, you know, we're not pointing fingers here. You know, there's things I could have done better in the game. There was better situations I could have called, better plays.
You play back-to-back spread offenses, Lane. Obviously, no one's stopping Oregon in these teams, but schematically, you guys really haven't done well against these offenses. Just talk a little bit about defensively what you need to do and as a philosophical change in all that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that, you know, if you have back-to-back games like that with over 600 yards, you know, we've got to look at what we're doing, obviously. You know, somehow we played 2 games and both teams are over 600 in both games. That's not real sound, and that's not where we want to be. So, what we've got to figure out, I do not have that answer for you right now, or else I would have tried to fix it during the game.
When you look at Oregon, both on film going into this game and what they did last year, you guys at least, you know, they did punt several times last year. Why are they executing, or is that, as you said, maybe a schematic issue?
Well, I think they're better. I think they're better. Now we've got to play better, obviously, but I think they're better than they were a year ago because the quarterback's speed, you know, and now what you're seeing is efficiency in the passing game. He's playing really well, and so if you're going to play them when you have those opportunities, like when they he made a mistake and threw it to Lamar, you know, we drop it. We beat the left tackle. Wes has a great sack. We've got to find a way to make that a sack cause fumble. You have to make, whenever you play a great team, you've got to make those type of plays in those critical situations because those are game-changing plays, much like the three possessions we talked about on offense.
Coach, I know sometimes it's difficult to bring positives on the losses, but I mean, you have to be happy how the offense was able to move the ball up and down the field in a top 5 team.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we point to is the 3 possessions. We should have done a better job, myself and these guys up here. You know, we could have done better. But I do think, obviously, that there was a lot of really good in the offense's performance today because it's not like that's, you know, a team that is in blowouts all the time or high-scoring affairs all the time. You know, that nobody's really moving the ball on them throughout the year. You know, that they're blowing people out by halftime. And you start looking at average per play, they were one of the better teams in the country. And today, you know, they went 8-8 a play, we went 7-7 a play. And over the course of the season, we're probably about dead even as average per play on offense. So I was proud, obviously, of the production throughout the game outside of, you know, those couple series.
Coach, can you just talk about, I'm sure you have mentioned this, but you scored 52 points, you expect to win that game. Can you talk about playing as an offense?
Yeah, that's obviously a unique conversation, you know, to have, you know, but I feel like we should have done better on offense, you know, and so you always got to look at yourself. You know, it could have put us in a better situation at the end of the half, you know, the last series there. So we got to continue to work hard and do better, and then you know we can look at ourselves on the turnovers too. You know, the yards, you know, back-to-back games over 600 yards of offense, and you know, the quarterback, I don't know, he broke his own record again today. You know, and 7 days away from each other, throwing for 460 and 480 or something. You know, and then Marqise probably has 500 yards in the last 2 games. But with all that stuff, we can still go back and fix some things. We fixed third down efficiency today. We were much better today than we had been. But the turnovers, you know, we still have 3 turnovers.
Matt,
Coach, did you envision, or was that the plan for Nelson to have as big a role as he had today?
Yeah, we really felt that Nelson would have a really big game today. You know, just because we knew that there was going to be focus on these 2 guys, especially after last week. You know, they had the most yards in the history of a combination of receivers in the history of the school. So they get paid too to coach, and so they're going to come out and try to shut down 9 and 2. And so we had some things in for Nelson, and he played great.
Are you convinced that next time you play these guys that you can't have any empty possessions? Like you have to score every single time you touch the ball?
No, I don't think so. You know, you got to stop them. You know, you can't play somebody and think that they're going to score every single time. You're going to score every time. You know, we got to make those. Like we said, there's a couple plays in there that could change the game. You know, and then we're still in the game on the onside kick too. Our guys did a great job of executing that.
Matt, how do you put into words being 6-3, coming back for unfinished business, and putting 51 up against Oregon and still losing?
I'd say that we still got a lot of football left, and the season is not over, and we got games left, and just got to make the most of those. And you never want 3 losses, in the beginning of November, but at this point in the season, our focus is on Arizona State and Arizona State only.
Matt, you could see the frustration though on your face on the sidelines throughout the whole game. Can you kind of express the disappointment that you're feeling and maybe where you thought the season was going to go?
I don't know about frustration or disappointment. I mean, we knew it was going to be a shootout, and we kind of going to echo Coach Kiffin's words about, I felt like we had to play perfect on offense to score every drive, and those 3 drives that were not productive came back to hurt us. And so I thought our guys put up a valiant effort, especially at the end with how they finished that drive. Robert and all those other guys were moving the ball, and ultimately, it wasn't a good enough effort.
in retrospect, Matt, do you think you tried to do too much on that play where you evaded the sack and then threw it and had it picked?
Probably, in my mind, I thought I was getting it to the outside. I didn't want the ball to get tipped when I turned my shoulders like that. That's kind of like it was a weird release, but it's worse than a pick. So.
Matt, from the big picture, do you feel like you've progressed from last year to this year? You've obviously put up huge numbers 2 weeks in a row. You probably have a few more interceptions than you would like. Just from the big picture, do you feel like you've made a jump from last year to this year?
In certain ways, yeah, absolutely. And the things that I wanted to, and there's always going to be stuff that I'm, going to have to get better at. And I think we've done a great job of moving the ball since the beginning of the season, which was something we needed to fix, and we have. And just got to do a better job putting the ball in the end zone.
Matt, how do you make sure